Welcome to Practice Admin Billing Manager Claims Entry Training. If at the completion of this training you have additional questions, please open a ticket with the support team by emailing support@practiceadmin.com. In this training session, we're going to cover entry of a claim. In order to complete your claims and charge entry, we're going to be in the Billing Manager, and we're going to start on the Claim General tab. The first thing you need to have done before starting your charge entry is to make sure that you have all of the patient demographics entered for your patient. If that's been completed, now we can go ahead and pull up the patient. We're going to type in the last name and hit enter, and that's going to automatically search, locate the patient, and you can either highlight them by clicking on their name individually and selecting OK, or you can double click on the patient's name. Once we've located the patient, the first thing we're going to need to do to start the charge entry is select the facility. Select the office or hospital that services were rendered at. Then select your provider. Once you've selected this facility and provider for the first claim that you're entering each day, going forward it will default these. So make sure that as you're doing your charge entry, you have the charges organized first by facility and then by provider. We're also going to double check our claim payer information down here. So as the patient demographics were filled out, if this patient has insurance, the system is going to automatically default to primary insurance. However, if this was a self-pay and no insurance was entered, then our claim payer would have looked like this. Or if it was work comp, it would have defaulted to workers' compensation. So this is a good place to just double check and make sure that everything looks correct. The fields over on the right-hand side speak specifically to work comp or accident claims. So as that information is also filled out in the patient demographics, some of these items will default automatically, such as the condition-related employment is checked and a case number here. Or if this was an auto accident, you need to go ahead and check the box and fill in the state. And in turn, you'll want to fill in the relevant dates down below. You'll notice in the date fields that if you click in any of the boxes, in the upper right-hand corner, this little yellow box is going to show you what date it's looking for or what that field represents. All right, moving forward. That's everything on your Claim General tab. Now we can go ahead and select Claim Details. Now in Claim Details, this is where you're going to plug in your ICD-9 codes. And this is where I stop using the mouse and begin just using the keyboard, because this is where it becomes more of just data entry. So let's go ahead and plug in our diagnosis code. If you have more than one, you can certainly go ahead and fill those in. If you find in the list one that matches better, you can certainly click on it with your mouse or just change it here. And we'll continue to tab through. We want to get to our date of service. Once you enter the service from date and tab over, it's going to automatically update your service to date to the same. Then you would select your CPT code. Your POS code is going to automatically default based on the facility that you selected under the Claim General tab. Modifiers can be entered here. And certainly if you have one or more, you would just type in, and you don't have to put any extra characters. The system will automatically put the comma to separate your modifiers. Your diagnosis pointers are automatically going to default to however many that you entered up above. So in this case we have 2, so we have diagnosis pointers 1 and 2. You can manually decide how it points, so if you wanted to look to the second code first and then the first ICD-9, you could change the order of those pointers. As we tab through, if the charge master was set up correctly, then your charge should automatically pull in. You have your units, remarks. Anything entered into the remarks box would show up in box 19 on the CMS 1500 form. And then last, we're going to click on Save and hit Enter, and that's going to enter our line 1. The mouse is, or the cursor is now going to pop up to line 2, and we can continue to tab through and select our next set of CPT codes if we have more. Okay, I don't have any further charges for this patient, so just a few other things to point out on this screen. Things like your hospitalization down at the very bottom. This is where you can add in your admit and discharge date if these were hospital charges. Also, once you've entered a claim for a patient in our system, you can use this last diagnosis, the little plus button in the upper right hand corner, and it will go ahead and list in here the history of diagnosis codes for this patient, and you can use the arrow to automatically pre-fill in the fields over on the left-hand side. All right, so now we're ready to move on to the Claim Final tab. Here is another area where you can add in a patient payment. So if the front desk is not collecting and posting those copays at the time the patient comes in the office, then you certainly have the option to go ahead and add in that patient payment here during charge entry. You would select the form of payment, put in reference information. It's going to default the payment date to the date of service that was selected during charge entry. Put in the payment amount. If you would like to print a receipt when you release this claim, you would check this box. If not, just leave it unchecked. Other important fields on this screen would be your prior authorization number, a referral number, Medicaid resubmission code, an original reference number. Any of these boxes, you'll notice as I click in them, you also get an explanation in the upper right hand corner of what box that's going to fill in on the CMS 1500 form. And so our final step in completing the charge entry would be to click this release button. Release means that you have entered everything and you're ready for this claim to go out the door to the clearinghouse for processing. If by chance you needed to double check something or re-verify with your provider before actually having this claim to go out the door, then we do have these 4 other buckets listed below as pre-released, for review, for client review, for billing approval. Basically, these put the claim in a suspended status and just label them differently so that you can have 4 different areas to maneuver through claims that maybe have some additional questions that need to be answered before going out the door. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and click the release button. So the information is removed, and now you are brought back to the Claim General tab, and you could locate your next patient and enter charges for a new claim. If by chance you're concerned that you made a mistake or you need to get back to the claim that you just entered, you could always use the Show Last button to pull up the record of the last patient you released a claim for. We could go here to the Patient Transaction History, the paper just above the ... You can see an overview right here for 10-4. This is the claim that we just entered. And if we highlight that line and click the Go to Claim button, it'll re-pull in that same claim that we just entered. So if you forgot to add in, let's say, a referring provider, or let's say maybe the CPT code is not correct, you can take your mouse and click on the line that you need to change the coding, tab through. If there's any changes on the charge amount, it'll let you know. Yes, let's use a different amount. Then we're going to select Save. And then again, to finalize, we're going to go to Claim Final, and we're going to release the claim. You will get a pop-up asking if are you sure you want to submit this again, and you would answer yes. That's what's going to actually update the CPT and charge amount. If by chance you released the claim and it was charged to the wrong patient altogether, you will have the opportunity to void a claim, or if you had put it in pre-released or for review and it had not gone and been fully submitted yet, then you also have the ability to click the delete button. That pretty much covers your claim entry. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to our support team by emailing support@practiceadmin.com. We appreciate your time. Thank you.